Welcome to this video. My name is Pedro Rodrigues Ribeiro. I'm a psychologist from Portugal, and today I would like to talk about cognitive analytical therapy, or CAT, C-A-T for short. Cognitive analytical therapy is an integrative model first developed by Anthony Ryle and Ian Kerr. Currently, Dr. Ryle has passed away in 2016, I believe. And CAT is another model of an integrative psychotherapy based development. So cognitive analytical therapy, as the name suggests, is an integrative therapeutical model based on concepts from cognitive therapy, psychodynamic therapy, psychoanalytical therapy or theory, and most recently they integrated some ideas from Lev Vygotsky, one of the fathers of developmental psychology. So it is an integrative model. Not only does CAT brings an integrative idea or integrative base in their assumptions, in their ideas, in their theory, but also is an integrative model in its approach to therapy and to the utilization of approaches and techniques that comes from different therapeutic models. So CAT initially was developed as a research response to psychoanalytical processes. As you all know, research in psychodynamic or psychoanalytical theories or therapy models is extremely hard because of what is the object, the intervention of psychoanalysis or psychodynamic psychotherapy. And since psychoanalytical and psychodynamic theories didn't have a traditional research-based approach, what Ryle and Kerr did was to, at a certain point, translate key concepts from psychoanalytical and psychodynamic theories into cognitive research-based processes. So they pick up on what cognitive therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy was doing in their research form, and they translated psychodynamic and psychoanalytical concepts into that form of doing research. And that was the origin, the base of cognitive analytical therapy. So CAT is a research-based integrative therapy model. It's a time-based model. It's time-limited. So contrary to psychoanalysis or traditional psychoanalysis, CAT is a short term intervention, and the main goal is to be a short-term intervention, like for example short-term intensive dynamic therapy, or intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy, excuse me. So yes, TDP. But yeah, CAT is a short-based model, so as an inspiration from cognitive therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, the sessions or the time limit is brief, and the sessions are extremely collaborative. CAT assumes that the key is in a therapeutic relationship, in the empathic connection and validation with the patient, and the idea is to acknowledge that while in development of the self, certain aspects grew up as role procedures or procedural roles that the person generates not only with themselves but also in their relationships. And as they develop those role procedures, they develop also coping strategies to deal with those roles, with those processes. So when they are not when they are maladaptive, as schema therapy would say, then the role of the CAT therapist is to intervene in those coping strategies, in those role procedures, to restructure them and to adapt them into a healthy way, a healthy life. So what CAT does is to intervene with the therapeutic relationship, and they can use certain approaches from cognitive therapy, from behavioral therapy, like behavioral experiments, like behavioral activation, activation. Activation, behavioral activation, sorry. But also some narrative approaches, like for example, writing and sending letters, externalizing the situation, certain experiential approaches, like for example, chair work. So the sky is the limit when you try to think about the approach or the technique that's suited for the repairing of that relationship, and that what the CAT therapist does. Nowadays, CAT is developed into different intervention models. When CAT first appeared, it was an individual therapeutic model. Nowadays, it can be used in groups, but also in certain areas, like for example, social work. Since CAT is mostly an English, or started as an English based model. If you know anything about England, you also know that England has the figure of the counselor. The counselor can be a mental health professional or can be a social worker, and a lot of counseling techniques and a lot of counseling approaches are very useful into social work and doing therapy. So this is my brief intervention, my brief exposure of CAT, Cognitive Analytical Therapy. I hope you all doing well. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, and I see you next time.